Hello to all my smart viewers. This is Gary Carburetor, and today I want to address something I realized just the other day, that I now think that the average American's risk of death has doubled in the last few months. This has nothing to do with getting a virus. That risk is much lower than 50%. These stories haven't gotten much publicity. I think there are reasons they don't want you to hear about this, so you probably haven't heard these things. So the first reason I think this is true is right here on your screen. Here's a case of a man who died. Now, he died of heart disease, but he died of it after he was turned away from a hospital. A lot of heart patients can be saved in hospitals. Heart disease is very common, and don't think that you're protected by it unless you eat a very low-fat diet filled with fruits and vegetables, do moderate exercise, and do not forget about your stress level. That's been my weak link. I got the others covered. Now, the real point of this story here is why he was turned away from the hospital. And I've talked about this in some of my last few videos. He could have been turned away for anything. So you could have any kind of health problem, or you could have an accident. There's all sorts of reasons you might need to go to a hospital. This was in Wisconsin. A person named Spendy, 46 years old. And this was not just one instance being turned away from a hospital. Detroit, Michigan man was refused testing 3 times before dying of the virus. He didn't know what he had, and he went to the hospital to get checked out. But they didn't do it. What's the reason? What's the reason for all these hospitals not helping people that are just showing up? It's because they're already swamped with people that are at the hospital. Not only are all the rooms and beds filled, but for months, they've been putting people in the hallways, and now the hallways are getting filled up. And why is this happening? We all know why this is happening. Because the pandemic is still going. The virus is still spreading, and it's because of the super spreaders, the people who don't want to wear masks and don't want to get the vaccine. These people have increased your risk of death from anything. And we're not done here. This is a story out of Alabama. Man turned away from 40 hospitals. The other recent news that I wanted to bring to you is another reason I say your risk of death has doubled. This phenomenon we can see here on the website Law and Crime. Texas man attacked a couple, and one of them was killed because, well, let's see if you can guess. Well, no, this guy just looks like a typical psycho. Not a specific one with a red hat. This is something I saw coming months back, and I warned you about. Actually, it was a couple years ago. First, I'll show you what caused me to worry about this happening, and then I'll show you actual cases.
We have some breaking news this afternoon. A local police captain has resigned over a comment he made on Facebook saying Biden supporters should be shot in the head. Captain Scott Walden of the Flomaton Police Department was responding to another post on Facebook, which called for those who voted for the Democratic nominee idiots, saying they threw the country away. Well, to that, Walden wrote, they need to line up every one of them and put a bullet in their skull for treason.
A Texas man has been charged for murdering a woman, allegedly, and shooting her husband because they don't agree with him politically and voted for President Joe Biden. Now, this shooting happened last November, but new details about the incident sheds new light on what motivated the shooter. The investigators in this case looked into the political beliefs of the attacker here. They realized that the Kaufmans had supported Biden, and they were overt in their support for Biden. They had a pro-Biden flag. The husband was hit once in the head, once in the shoulder, and once in the wrist, but he survived the shooting. It was his wife who tragically did not survive. There were other couples who he was intending on targeting as well. The police captain suggesting on Facebook that people who voted for Joe Biden deserve a bullet in their skull.
I don't think he should be held reliable as far as for his actions. He'll be coming back to work, hopefully. They'll let him come back to work. I need to let him come back to work.
And also for years, I've been warning you to keep away from people who look like this. It is a stereotype. A lot of people who have sociopathic personality look like this and have certain traits. There's no big distinction between their neck and their head. They're fat and bald, facial hair. Here's another thing that could happen to you. that wouldn't have happened a few years ago.
A man who's now being investigated for the murder of his wife. But before he was investigated for the murder of his wife, he decided to vote on her behalf after she went missing. So Barry Morphew is the name of the person being investigated now. He told investigators that he mailed the ballot on behalf of his wife, Suzanne Morphew, to help Trump win, saying, quote, "All these other guys are cheating," and that he thought his wife would have voted for Trump anyway.
And who was it that put the suggestion in people's head that there was rampant cheating in our elections? What was it that got Arizona to have an audit of the election? The results of that audit just came in, and they found out that there were not a mysterious excess of Biden votes. There was an excess of votes for Donald. Who was it again that was getting people to believe that the other side was cheating? The cheater.
Now the authorities are presuming her dead, and obviously they think they have enough evidence on the husband to arrest him for that and charge with first-degree murder, okay?
This was just a quick video sharing some rare news to keep you up to date on how to stay safe. I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about the virus, but for those of you who are not sick of it and want to hear some original commentary on all the crazy social aspects of the pandemic, I'd like to point you to my latest video on my main channel. If you like getting your pandemic news and your political news all mixed together in a salad and hidden in the dressing, and it has been made political, and this video really shows it, and in the most entertaining way I've ever seen. That's really one to share around. TYT should be sharing that one. Crazy doctors and YouTube buffoons. It goes with this video because hospitals and the AMA should be putting their foot down and saying no COVIDiots allowed, but they won't do that. They won't tell, for instance, like the doctor in that video I made, who I call Dr. Anna Archie, they're not stopping her.